Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans. Welcome to The Bunker. It's time for another voicemail. Today's voicemail is from an anonymous caller. Let's listen to what they have to say.
Hello, Lloyd. You can use this voicemail in your videos. I want to thank you for your activism efforts that have helped me and many others to wake up. I'm one of your subscribers from Europe, and I'm not a native English speaker, so I'm sorry for my awful accent and pronunciation. I hope you can understand me well. I'm a third generation Jehovah's Witness. I was born in the truth, but I never got baptized. And I used to be an unbaptized publisher for a while, but then I committed some sins and I lost that privilege, if I can call it privilege. And I lived a worldly life for most of my teenage years. But I never stopped believing in the doctrine. And a few years ago, I started to study again, and I almost became again an unbaptized publisher. But then I started to have some doubts a few months ago, and 2 weeks ago, I woke up completely. But now I feel confused and depressed because I know that the new world and eternal life are a lie. And I don't know how to live my life now, but I know that I want to become an activist and help other people get out from this high control group. The problem is that I don't know where to start, especially because I feel unprepared. I have done enough research to know that this isn't the truth, but I don't think I have done enough research to become an activist here on YouTube, and this task seems daunting. Where should I start to do more research, and what should my first apostate videos be about? The Bible, the problems with the New World Translation, the child abuse issue? Maybe I should start by making a video about my experience as a Jehovah's Witness and the reasons why I no longer believe. Another problem with my activism goals is that I don't think I could make enough original content because your channel and other apostate channels have already talked about most of the reasons why Jehovah's Witnesses don't have the truth. So I thought that I could make translations or translated remakes of your videos and the videos of other activists in Romanian and Italian. Obviously, I would give you all the credit for the content. I don't want to steal anyone's content. I just want to help my former brothers and sisters, especially those that don't speak English, because I think that there isn't enough apostate content in languages other than English. I hope that I will be able to do my part, and thank you again for your efforts.
What a lovely message. Thank you so much. Why is it that people who master another language in this case English, and are able to speak it perfectly, how come they always apologize? There's nothing wrong with your English, with your pronunciation. You say, sorry for my awful accent. Your accent is beautiful. I could listen to it all day. Thank you so much for calling through with this message. I'm sure it's a situation that many viewers will relate to. I've just woken up. I've just realized that I've been lied to for most of my life, and that most of what I thought about life, the universe, and everything is just totally made up and intended to control me. What do I do now? How do I help other people get out of this terrible situation? Well, I think in your own case, you have to remember that it's still very recent for you. I mean, I think this particular message was actually left a couple of months ago. Bear in mind, I've been on a 2-month break. Even so, if you say in the message that you woke up 2 weeks ago, we're still talking, even as of now, about someone who has gotten themselves out of an incredibly controlling group. Granted, you were never baptized, but you were still underneath the indoctrination. You've only just gotten yourself out. You're grappling with feelings of confusion and depression, according to what you've said. Your first thought, in my opinion, shouldn't be, how do I help other people? Laudable and honorable though that is. I think you need to heal from your experience first. It's a traumatic experience that you've been through. We call it religious trauma syndrome. So focus on yourself. You need to heal yourself before you can help others. So the usual advice applies again that I give in video after video, particularly with these voicemails. Please, if you can, seek out mental health support. It's something I've been having to do increasingly recently. And yet, these are people who are trained to help people in traumatic situations navigate their way through those situations. So focus on healing first. When it comes to getting into activism, once you're ready, and I can't stress enough, you need to be ready for it. I think provided you're in the right space to be able to help others, and provided you have something to say, it shouldn't be a case of feeling forced into it. In other words, I think, at least in my own case, it wasn't as though I felt duty-bound necessarily, or in any way forced to start making videos when I started vlogging back in 2013, and I started uploading content in 2012. It was more that I knew something, I had something to say, and I wanted to share it. Again, it's very recent and very raw for you, and you're still probably making discoveries now. Maybe there will come a point where you feel as though you have enough of a handle on the situation and enough of a grasp of what was done to you and how you were lied to, that, you know, wild horses couldn't drag you away from the camera. I think that's a better position to be in. There's that verse in the Bible, isn't there? If they weren't to speak, the stones would cry out, or something. I think there's got to be a fire in your belly for activism. That's how I often think of it or talk about it. And once there is that fire in your belly, just talk. Just be yourself on camera. Sharing your own story, as you suggest, is an excellent way of introducing yourself to your viewers. But I must just take issue with when you said something along the lines of, you know, what is there for me to say now? You know, YouTubers like yourself have said it all, or maybe other YouTubers have said it all before. What could I possibly bring to the table? That sort of talk horrifies me. And probably this is a good opportunity for me to just kind of make this point to everybody. I am not the last word on arguments against Jehovah's Witnesses and criticism of Jehovah's Witnesses. I really am not. I am just one perspective. Everyone has their own perspective. If you put a group of former Jehovah's Witnesses in a room and you present them with a topic, they're all going to talk about that topic, perhaps a little bit influenced by what each other's saying, but they're all going to come at that topic from a slightly different perspective based on slightly different lived experiences. And they are all going to have something insightful to bring to the table. Just because one person has said something on a particular subject, perhaps something that's very persuasive, something that has really cleared things up and made people think and made people realize, how could I honestly have fallen for this? Doesn't mean that's the last word on it. I really feel strongly that the more voices can get involved in activism when they're ready, the better. We need as many voices and perspectives as possible, because not every voice, not every perspective is the same. And I heard Matt Dillahunty say something along these lines once. I can't think exactly when or which video, but sometimes repetition is important. Sometimes people need to hear the same argument again and again and again, and then finally someone makes that same argument using slightly different words, and finally the penny drops, you know? And you could be the person who does that. You could be the person who makes a video that addresses a particular subject. Let's say it's child sexual abuse. Let's say it's blood transfusions. And the way you approach the subject and the wording that you use is the final straw for someone, even though they've heard similar arguments before. So never feel as though your voice isn't valid. And as you've commented yourself, there isn't enough material in non-English languages, at least as far as I can tell. There needs to be more. There needs to be... YouTube needs to be inundated with videos in all languages that Jehovah's Witnesses speak. Because I firmly believe that the Jehovah's Witness religion changes slightly depending on which language you speak. For example, if you don't know any English at all, and your only language is, let's say, Italian, because it sounds like you're Italian, when you tune into JW Broadcasting or the conventions, you're watching Tony Morris or Stephen Lett being dubbed over by someone who sounds far more convincing and far more intellectual. So there's just one example. Another example might be the availability of certain publications in that particular language. Here in Croatia, they don't have the Proclaimers book. They don't have a number of older publications that I've referred to in my videos because the organization just never got round to translating them into Croatian. So again, it's a slightly different religion. And what can I say? The fields are white for harvesting, without wanting to trigger people. The fields are white for harvesting when it comes to convincing people and persuading people and showing people that this is a damaging cult, especially in the hundreds of languages spoken by Jehovah's Witnesses that are not English. So when you feel ready, please consider getting yourself involved in activism, and please don't feel as though you don't have something to bring to the table, because you do. However, again, heal first. It's all still very raw for you. And if after having gone through that process of healing, you change your mind and you think, you know what, I'm not so sure I want to do the activism. I'm happy with where I am in my life. I'm glad that I've woken up. The activism, though, just isn't for me. That's totally fine as well. I'm not one of these people. I don't think I've met many people who say every ex-Jehovah's Witness should be an activist. It's enough just to get out, quite frankly. Everybody who manages to get themselves out of a group as controlling and manipulative as Jehovah's Witnesses deserves a medal. It's a huge accomplishment. That alone is enough. Anything else, whether it's activism or whatever, is a bonus. So don't feel as though you owe the world activism, you owe the universe activism, but it's there if you want it, and I, for one, would very much look forward to seeing you on YouTube if that turns out to be what you want to do. So I hope my answer to your message has been helpful for you. Don't forget that if you'd like to leave a voicemail, the thing to do is go to speakpipe.com/Seeders, remembering to indicate clearly if you don't want me to play your message on my channel. But that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for watching.